Haha, puny child. I am the best Pokemon to ever exist. Your Nidoking can't do anything to stop me. Well, we'll see about that. Alright, Nidoking, take this X accuracy and use a Hoenn drill. Wait, what? This. What is going on, guys? This is Dobbs here, bringing you another Pokemon video. And in this video, we're gonna go over the best Pokemon from every main series game. And you probably noticed I said we, because that's right, we have a special guest for this video. Allow me to introduce Mystic Umbreon.
Hey guys, my name is Mystic Umbreon, and on my channel I do a variety of top 10s, I create teams, and I do a lot of Pokemon speculations. So thank you so much for having me on, Dobbs.
And after you guys watch this video, you should definitely check out the collab we did on Mystic's channel, going over the best Pokemon team for every region. It was a fun video to make, and it's definitely worth the watch. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and just one thing before we start, we are going over the Pokemon that would be considered the best for beating the game as fast as possible. So with that in mind, without further ado, let's get started. Generation 1. Now, starting off with the first generation of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, the best Pokemon to go through the game with is definitely Nidoking, because it just tears through the game like it's nothing. You see, the reason why Nidoking is such a viable Pokemon starts with the fact that you can receive a Nidoran within the first 10 minutes of starting the game. And then, as you probably know, you can obtain a Moonstone at Mount Moon and evolve your Nidorino into a Nidoking within the first half hour of the playthrough. So basically, you can have a Nidoking before Misty, which is just absolutely busted. Not to mention that Nidoking learns the move Thrash, which just dominates the early game in a speedy fashion. On top of that, Nidoking isn't just a great Pokemon, but it is literally broken to the point where it can one-hit nearly every Pokemon. Yeah, that's right, due to a bug with the item X accuracy, instead of merely increasing the accuracy of a Pokemon, it made it where the Pokemon had perfect accuracy. So with the combination of Nidoking's Hoenn drill and the X accuracy item, you basically had a godlike Pokemon. And you gotta keep in mind that you're only halfway through the game when you unlock this potential. So after you get out of Rock Tunnel and head to the Celadon department store, it is just an easy ride for the rest of the game if it wasn't already. But yeah, in the end, Nidoking is hands down the best Pokemon to play through the original games with. It evolves early, it has a great move pool, and it becomes broken once you gain access to the Celadon department store, which are the main reasons why we chose it as one of the best. Generation 2.
Now in the second generation with Pokemon Gold and Silver, to play through these games in the most efficient and best way possible is by using Totodile. Totodile in these games is better than Cyndaquil and Chikorita for a variety of reasons, but one of the best is the fact that Totodile has access to a move called Rage. Rage, in case you didn't know, is a move that gradually gets stronger with every turn and eventually, once powered up enough, can start to knock out most Pokemon in the early game. Not just Rage though, Feraligatr also gets access to the great move of Surf, and the fact you get access to this powerful stab attack around the 4th gym makes it even deadlier for the mid-game. The most powerful move you can obtain though is Return. Return is a physical attack that does more damage based on friendship, and with the physical special split in these games, Return is one of the most powerful attacks that you can use with Feraligatr, because water is special in this generation, and as you probably know, Feraligatr is mostly a physical attacker. With a mixture of Return and other powerful assets like Surf and Rage, Feraligatr is definitely the best Pokemon to use in Pokemon Gold and Silver. For Pokemon Crystal, the same style of play is done with Totodile up until the point you gain access to Raikou, which is available right after you defeat your rival in the Burn Tower. Raikou has insane stats for an early game legendary, and on top of that, you also get access to it at level 40. Raikou has access to moves like Spark early on, which is a 65 base power attack that just decimates the majority of the game, especially in the mid game where Raikou is just levels beyond every other Pokemon. By the time you get to the Elite Four, Raikou will start to need X specials in certain situations, but it's still going to shred regardless. Raikou is a freaking beast, starting from when you get it all the way until the end of its debut against Red.
Generation 3. Now for Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, Swampert is, not surprisingly, the best Pokemon for a variety of reasons. Starting with why you choose the Mudkip line over Trico and Torchic, it basically just comes down to the fact that the Mudkip line has an incredible typing advantage for the entire game. And not just offensively, but defensively as well. Because as you probably know, Swampert only has one weakness, which is grass. And looking at all the gyms and Elite Four members, only 2 trainers out of them all have a grass Pokemon. Not to mention that Swampert's diverse move pool can counter most of the gym battles. I mean, with just water type moves alone, Swampert can do the majority of battles without breaking a sweat. And when you get the HM Surf, it just becomes a nightmare for every trainer that you come across. Speaking of HMs, Swampert can learn 4 of the required HMs I need to use in order to progress through the story. And when you're trying to beat the game as fast as possible, this becomes very handy super quick. Even with the HM moves like Rock Smash, Strength, and Surf, Swampert can decimate practically anything that it comes across. So even if it's a low-key HM slave, it still wreaks havoc because it just doesn't care. And let's just say, Surf makes the game incredibly easy, especially in double battles. Now, with all of that in mind, there is a caveat to declaring Swampert the best Pokemon for the Gen 3 games when trying to beat them as fast as possible. Here, let me explain. If you remember the storyline, you are given a free Master Ball and technically a free legendary Pokemon. So, of course, the respective legendary Pokemon you are given automatically becomes the best Pokemon for the playthrough. Because, hey, it's a legendary and Swampert can't compete with that. I mean, it's a legendary. Well, besides Groudon, because it can't learn Surf and has some questionable matchups with the final gym and the Elite Four. But other than that, Kyogre and Rayquaza just takes over the remainder of the game. So in the end, Swampert is the best Pokemon for the majority of the playthrough. But after you get that free legendary, they just take over.
Remake number 1.
Now for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, the best Pokemon for beating these games is surprisingly the Squirtle line. That's right, not the Charmander line that everyone holds dear to their heart. The main reasoning as to why Squirtle is the best Pokemon to use for this playthrough is due to its effective move pool against every gym in the game. Starting with Brock, it's pretty obvious you're going in the spam bubble and just shred through the fights. With Misty, by this time, Squirtle would have become a Wartortle, and with Bite, it makes it easier to knock out Starmie. With Lieutenant Surge, it becomes a little more complex, but with the TM Water Pulse you get from Misty, it should be an easy fight as long as you can get past the double teams. For Erica's gym, this gym is skipped until the Blizzard TM is obtained, and then after that, it's game over for the grass Pokemon. While you're in Celadon though, another item that really helps out with Blastoise's Bite power are the Black Glasses obtained in the Rocket Hideout. This item will power up Bite and give Blastoise the edge in a lot of situations. Once you make it to Fuchsia City and obtain Surf, Blastoise is pretty much crowned king at this point. 95 base power with Stab lets you wreck pretty much everything. With the aid of Blastoise's Torrent ability and the power of the Black Glasses and a few X items here and there, Blastoise really destroys the rest of Kanto relatively easily, which is why it is the best Pokemon for the Kanto remakes.
Generation 4.
Now, for the 4th generation games of Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum is different because for Diamond and Pearl, the best Pokemon to use to play through the game with is Infernape. But for Platinum, the best Pokemon is actually Empoleon. And believe me when I say this, the only reason why it's different in Platinum is because of one item that you're given in the game. But we'll get back to that here shortly. So starting with Diamond and Pearl, the reason why Infernape is the best Pokemon is because it's Infernape. The Pokemon that is based on Goku. It is just stupidly strong in the 4th generation. I mean, its early game is incredible. Its stab fire type move just decimate practically everything. And with the first 2 gyms having a weakness to Chimchar and Monferno, it just makes the beginning so easy. And basically after you catch the momentum in the early game, it's just a smooth ride from there on because Infernape just becomes an unstoppable train. And not to mention, if you're lucky enough, if your Infernape's hidden power typing is Ice, it practically becomes Super Saiyan Goku. It just gets crazy coverage for every situation. Now, moving on to Pokemon Platinum, the only reason why Empoleon is considered the better Pokemon is for the fact that you're given a choice specs in the mid to late game. And just like Swampert, Empoleon Surf destroys everything. And I mean everything when it's holding a choice specs. And on the plus side, Empoleon also learns most, if not all, HMs that you'd even need to progress through the game. So it basically just comes down to the fact that Empoleon becomes a monster when it learns Surf and acquires a choice specs. I'm starting to see why Game Freak pulled HMs from the Generation 7 games. Surf just makes these Pokemon absolutely broken. But yeah, that is why Infernape and Empoleon are considered the best Pokemon for these games.
Remake number 2.
Now for Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the best Pokemon to use would be the Cyndaquil line and the legendary beast Raikou once again. The reason why Cyndaquil is a more optimal starter over Totodile in this game is mainly due to the Sprout Tower being mandatory. With Cyndaquil on the Sprout Tower, it can one-hit basically everything since it has a strong type advantage. With that said, Cyndaquil is only the best for the early game since you battle Bugsy with all his bug Pokemon and the fact that you can get Fire Blast in the Goldenrod City department store and destroy Whitney's Wretched Miltank with a few hits. But after you unlock the legendary beasts, and if you're lucky enough to come across a Raikou and capture it, it becomes the best Pokemon to use for the rest of the game, including the post-game. I say lucky because just like in Pokemon Crystal, speedrunners normally use RNG manipulation to win the Master Ball from the Goldenrod lottery in order to capture Raikou pretty early on in the game. But anyways, with Raikou, it has a really solid move pool in Generation 4, even having access to moves like Shadow Ball and Thunder. Not to mention Raikou's killer stats for an early game legendary, and already being level 40 if you're lucky to find and catch it. There's even a free item that makes Raikou an unstoppable monster, which is the item Choice Specs. Choice Specs are a special item that allows the Pokemon's special attack to be skyrocketed at the cost of having only one move being usable. With Raikou having the Choice Specs attached, it makes Heart Gold and Soul Silver an even bigger walk in the park. So as you guys can see, Raikou is the best Pokemon to run through Heart Gold and Soul Silver with due to all the utility it has.
Generation 5.
Now, for Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2, it's just like the Generation 4 games. There are two Pokemon that are considered the best for each version. And as you probably guessed, the best Pokemon for Black and White is a starter, which is Emboar. But the best Pokemon for Black and White 2 is kind of surprising. That's right, it's Excadrill of all Pokemon. And you'll find out why here soon enough. Now, Emboar is considered the best for Pokemon Black and White for a pretty simple reason. And the reason is the fact that Emboar is absolutely busted. It's just broken in Pokemon Black and White. The combination of Emboar's extremely high attack and his powerful moves like Flamethrower, Flare Blitz, and Brick Break, not to mention his friendship boosted return, makes it a huge threat to practically every battle. And that's basically why it's the best Pokemon. It just comes down to those two reasons alone. It's just insanely powerful. Now, I know what you're thinking. If Emboar is such a broken Pokemon, why was it replaced in Pokemon Black and White 2 by Excadrill? And well, it's for a simple reason as well. Excadrill is more broken in Pokemon Black and White 2 than Emboar is in Black and White. It's incredibly powerful for its playthrough. You see, Excadrill has pretty awesome stats. Its 135 base attack is insane. It can practically hit Pokemon like an oncoming truck. And it also has a decent HP and speed stat of 110 and 88, which is faster than Emboar in Pokemon Black and White. On top of that, its ground steel typing is very strong offensively, coupled with the fact that Excadrill learns Iron Head, Rock Slide, and Dig early on, which, as you probably guessed, hits low-level Pokemon very hard. And lastly, what puts the nail in the coffin for Excadrill is the fact that it learns Home Claws and Swords Dance, which is a lot faster than buying X attacks for Emboar to one-hit everything. It's just an overall better Pokemon than the infamous starter Pokemon. And yeah, for all of those reasons, that is why Emboar and Excadrill are the best Pokemon for the Generation 5 games.
Generation 6.
Now, I know this is a video about the best Pokemon from each game, but with X and Y, there are really no best Pokemon to go through the game with, strictly due to the fact that the gym matchups are just too diverse for one Pokemon to handle. But you still have to obtain a few Pokemon in order to hit the quote-unquote best Pokemon for the playthrough. Pretty much you start off with Chespin and then upgrade to a Farfetch'd strictly for Viola's gym. Then you can obtain a Hawlucha through a trade and battle with him for the next few gyms being Grants and Corinas. Once you defeat Corina though, you get the prized Pokemon for the playthrough being a free Lucario. Once you receive Lucario, it just shreds through the mid-game and late game. So if there was a Pokemon we would pick for the best, it would definitely be Lucario. The reason why Lucario is considered the best is because for one, it has a great move pool of all kinds of coverage. And it has access to moves like Bone Rush, Swords Dance, and Shadow Claw. Bone Rush can be used effectively against Clement, Swords Dance makes your time against Valerie pretty easy, and Shadow Claw destroys Olympia's psychic types. Not to mention that Lucario has the ability to Mega Evolve. This just makes X and Y easier than it already is. The Elite Four and Champion are complete pushovers in Kalos. Lucario just mollywops them like it's nothing with its diverse move pool and access to Mega Evolution. There is no competition, period, in the mid and late game.
Remake number 3.
Now, this one's going to be short and sweet because we've basically already talked about the best Pokemon for this game. So with that said, the best Pokemon for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is, like you probably guessed, Swampert yet again. Now, the reason why Swampert is the best Pokemon for the remakes is because of the same reasons that it's the best in Generation 3. Just like in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Swampert's offensive threats just destroys everybody. And on top of that, its one weakness advantage is still prevalent in these games. Additionally, just like the originals, the caveat for Swampert is that Kyogre takes over once you obtain it in the storyline. But not just Kyogre though, Latios takes over when you get it for free as well. So in these games, you start with a Mudkip, get a Latios, and then end it with a Kyogre. Because hey, there are free legendaries, and why not use it to beat the game as fast as possible? And in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Kyogre has Primal Evolution, which is a plus. So yeah, it's safe to say that Swampert is the king of the Hoenn region when it's under the caveat. And that is why it is the best Pokemon for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Generation 7.
Now with Pokemon Sun and Moon, the best Pokemon to use is one of Dobbs' favorite Pokemon. That's right, it's Popplio. Now from my experience alone, I already knew Popplio was the best Pokemon because it just shreds through the entire game without breaking a sweat. The Water Fairy typing it has just makes it so dominant throughout the entire playthrough, especially in the Elite Four where practically all the members have at least 1 to 2 Mons, or even their entire team being weak to Popplio's type coverage. Fairy is just such a dominant typing in the Alola region that most trainers and totems fall victim to it. On top of its great typing, it also has phenomenal stats like its 129 base special attack stat. That is extremely good for a starter Pokemon. With the access to moves and typings this Pokemon has, this makes it a god tier selection for Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is why it's the best. With the last of the Alola games being Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Hawlucha is the best choice here in terms of Ultra Moon, and I think we can see why because of its incredible typing and how early access you have to it. Once you get past Lima, you are able to obtain a level 8 traded Hawlucha, and since it's a trade Pokemon, it has a perfect stat and gains bonus experience for the rest of the game. After that, once you learn Wing Attack, this Pokemon destroys the entirety of the game with its dominant typing of flying and fighting. With Z moves too, oh man, you guys are really in for a treat, especially with the item Sharp Beak that you can find fairly early in the game. The only real problem Hawlucha has is against Ultra Necrozma, but that problem can be solved easily with the solution of grabbing Zorora in the beginning of the game at the trainer's school. Zorora has an ability called Illusion, which fools Ultra Necrozma and the spamming Photon Geyser, which can open the opportunity of stalling with Toxic since Zorora is immune to psychic type attacks. With that being said, Ultra Necrozma goes down in seconds just like that. Despite that one obstacle, Hawlucha pretty much secures the rest of the game with ease. So now specifically for Ultra Sun, Popplio is actually the better choice, basically for the same reasons as Pokemon Sun and Moon. The Ultra Necrozma fight is a little different though. This time you still use Zorora, but instead of using Toxic, you spam Fake Tears. Fake Tears drops the target's special defense by 2 stages, which makes it really easy for Primarina to knock out. Other than that, like I mentioned for Pokemon Sun and Moon, Primarina is practically a clone of itself in Ultra Sun, which makes it the best Pokemon to use.
Remake number 4.
And wow, here we are, the latest Pokemon game of the series. Well, as of August 18th, 2019, I know Pokemon Sword and Shield are coming out here soon. But anyways, let's get right into it. Now, the best Pokemon for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are, well, of course, the enhanced starters, and surprisingly enough, Starmie. Now, the reason why the starter Pokemon are the best Pokemon in the beginning of the game is because they are given perfect IVs, higher stats, and better moves along with coverage. So, of course, for the topic of this video, these Pokemon are going to be the best, for a short time that is. Because as soon as you get Sea Skim and Surf in Pallet Town, you can gain access to catching a Staryu, which you will then evolve into a Starmie using a Water Stone. Now guys, Starmie was broken in the first generation and is still broken in the remakes, because this Pokemon has an amazing move pool, and I mean amazing. It can learn moves like Scald, Psychic, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Grass Knot. It can basically learn everything. And on top of that, Starmie is super quick and super powerful, because thanks to its 115 base speed and 100 base special attack, it can obliterate practically everything with its wide coverage, especially if the Staryu you catch has a high CP value. So yeah, besides the fact that you have to catch Pokemon in order to beat the game, the starters and Starmie definitely allow you to beat every battle as fast as possible, and that is why we chose him as the best. And there you go, the best Pokemon for every main series game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like if you did because I appreciate it a ton. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe because I upload pretty frequently now, being a full-time YouTuber and all. And don't forget to ring that bell because that notifies you even more. And if you want to be even more awesome, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and even on the Amino app because all those platforms are super cool. And also, I have some exciting news. I am now an official partner with Elgato. So if you want to buy gear for streaming and content creation, you can use my affiliate link down below in the description. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and ring the bell for my channel because I'm going to be doing a giveaway with Elgato here very soon. And finally, for the question of the day, which Pokemon do you think is going to be the best for Pokemon Sword and Shield? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments because I'm going to read those comments and reply to them and be like, whoa, that's crazy. And yeah, that's all for this video, and I will see you guys next time. See ya!